Romances probably aren't the first thing that comes to mind when you think of One Piece, but what if I told you that there are some secret relationships in the series that you never knew about? That's why in this video I'll be explaining all 18 secrets and future couples in One Piece. Starting with Smoker and Hina. You might think that Smoker doesn't have any romantic side, but you'd be surprised to know that he's actually quite charming. If you take a look at the cover of chapter 586, you'll notice Smoker and Hina casually enjoying a stroll around town. Now, judging by the clothes they're wearing and the fact that Hina is holding a bag, I'd say they're probably on a date. However, if this image isn't enough to convince you, there are a few more things that point in that direction. First of all, we know that they enlisted in the Marines at the same time, and Oda even said that Hina saved Smoker multiple times when he was about to be discharged. He even stated that these two are stuck with each other. Another thing that suggests this is that they end up appearing together quite often in both the anime and the manga, as for example in this poster that Oda made to promote Movie Z. At the end of each section, I will also give a score from 1 to 10 on how likely a certain relationship will turn out, and I really believe this, 8 out of 10. There are still 17 secret couples to cover, and we'll continue with one that most of you probably didn't know about, Kobe and Hibari. When we first met Kobe in episode 1, it was hard to believe that this fragile, scared boy would ever find someone. However, just by being the kind soul he was before the time skip, he actually managed to attract someone, Hibari, although his unexpected brilliance definitely played a part. So what's the story behind this? Well, at one point, Kobe saved Hibari during a battle, and afterwards she told him that she had lost her very important teddy bear somewhere. So what did Kobe do? He went to the battlefield again and searched for it for several days. Although he was really injured, he eventually managed to find it and return it to Hibari. As expected, she has been madly in love with him ever since. She even named her teddy bear after him. When Kobe was captured by the Blackbeard pirates, Hibari and Hello were the first to shed tears for him and begged the other members of the Sword to save him. She also participated in the attack on Dressrosa and even brought some food for Kobe. Just look at how happy she is knowing that her hero is safe. It's pretty clear that there's something going on between these two, but Kobe is a little too dense to figure it out for himself. I'll give this one a 10 out of 10. And if you're rooting for our boy Kobe, hit that subscribe button to wish him good luck. Captains Buggy and Alvida were perhaps one of the most iconic villains in the Dawn Saga, and both became recurring characters in the series who remained together even after the time skip. Some of you may not know this, but Alvida actually saved Buggy's life the first time they met by defeating a giant crab monster. Although they only formed an alliance to defeat the Straw Hat Pirates, they continued to work together even though the world assumed the Straw Hats were defeated. This means that these two probably enjoy each other's company more than they'd like to admit. Who says a jester can't catch a bad guy? He's literally one of the Pirate King's old crewmates, and he certainly knows how to be charming when he wants to be. I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. Now let's cover a future relationship involving our favorite human reindeer, Chopper and Milky. While we didn't get to see much of Milky, Oda did give us some romantic moments that occur on screen between her and Chopper. I mean, just check out the way Chopper looks at her. Funny enough, their relationship isn't that one-sided considering how Milky gives Chopper a lot more attention compared to the others she interacts with. You don't see her kissing other Straw Hats like that. During one of the SBSs, Oda confirmed that Milky is the only character that Chopper wants to date in the entire series. He even added that once Chopper falls deeply in love, nothing will be able to stop him. While the interactions between these two were very brief, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world for them to end up together. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Mihawk and Perona. Someone like Mihawk, who prefers to live in abandoned castles and travel the Grand Line on his own, doesn't seem like the kind of person who would tolerate company. However, when it comes to Perona, he actually tolerates her. Despite how annoying he apparently finds Perona, he's kept her around for a surprisingly long time and even took care of her, letting her return the favor. He lets her act like a brat around him and overall seems to genuinely like her and care about her safety, even telling her that she better leave his island soon because the Marines will come after him. Plus, considering both of their aesthetic choices, they're literally a perfect match. Gothic, dark, creepy, they're perfect for each other. Oda also depicted their relationship in a few cover pages, where Perona seems genuinely interested in him. Since the series creator is okay with portraying the two of them so close, maybe it will work out. They are very private, so expecting them to tell each other how they feel isn't going to happen anytime soon. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. There are still 13 couples to cover. Let's continue with Sabo and Koala. They may be against the world, but with so many missions to work on together, there must be something brewing between Sabo and Koala. They are simply adorable together, and it's clear that they care deeply for each other. There's certainly a lot of chemistry between them. Just look at how worried Koala was for Sabo's safety after the incident in Lelouchia. Another interesting thing is that Koala even refers to him as Sabun, even though he holds a higher position within the Revolutionary Army, which means they must be very close. They've both seen the unspeakable horrors that their world has to offer, and yet they still bring happiness into each other's lives. Although when asked about them, Oda only said that they met during their training in the Revolutionary Army and that they work very well together. Until we get more information about them, I'd say this one has about a 5 out of 10 chance of happening. Sanji and Viola. During the Dressrosa arc, the Straw Hats cook finally got a breakthrough when Viola suddenly ran to him asking for his help. In that instant, it was clear that the two shared a lot of chemistry. They kissed to escape the kingdom's guards. Viola knew that Sanji was part of the Straw Hat crew, so she wanted to lead him into a trap, but his charisma and charm eventually won her over. In the end, she ended up giving the crew crucial information that helped them defeat Doflamingo. There were several moments when Sanji made her blush, and his advances were never rejected by her. Even while threatening him, she was holding back tears. Oda did his best to pull the plug and eventually caused the pair to have to part ways. Even so, both still have a lot to say to each other that may come out the next time they meet again. It's possible but highly unlikely in my opinion. 3 out of 10. Frankie and Robin. These two are the smartest people in the Straw Hat crew, and before Jinbe and Brook showed up, they were also the oldest. It's only natural to assume that there must be something going on between them, at least behind the scenes. Through all, Oda has stated that they are like mother and father to the rest of their crewmates. Not only that, but if you've been paying attention to the story so far, you might have noticed several moments between the two that show their compatibility with each other. Like the time when Frankie offered to give Robin a ride during the Wano arc in chapter 979. Frankie was clearly not happy with Brook accepting her offer. Not only that, it seems that Robin is not too happy about the situation either. The heart in her speech bubble clearly indicates that she was flattered by the offer. And yes, I get you, the way they interact with each other like this is just because they are good friends. While that may be true, you have to admit that their friendship has good potential to be a little more than that. Remember that Frankie was the one who saved Robin from the bullets during Eni's lobby, and later Robin did something very interesting to make him join the team. Also, take a look at this cover of chapter 988, where you can clearly see Robin showing some love to Frankie, and it looks like he's enjoying every second of it. 6 out of 10. However, this isn't the only possible relationship for Robin, as there is actually another. Robin and Law. Now, I know that Robin and Law are two characters who don't really end up spending a lot of time together. However, their shared love of the story makes it clear that there is potential for them to actually get together at some point, despite them not showing much interest in each other in that way. Another thing that connects them is that they both lived through some of the most horrific events as children and both saw their fair share of violence and madness. They even share the same kind of vibe when it comes to being dark and surprisingly whimsical at the same time. They even went on a date together, albeit to avoid suspicion, but it seemed like Robin was having a great time. While this pairing is something that many fans want, I don't think it's that likely to happen. 4 out of 10. Zoro and Tashigi. Zoro may be a lost cause when it comes to certain things, but he is clearly someone who shows an interest in women. He has been known to blush on several occasions when he is around a woman who shows even the slightest interest in him. It is the same thing when he is around a person who looks exactly like his childhood rival, Tashigi. Tashigi may be too fragile and shy for someone like Zoro to fall in love with, but she shares the same kind of ambition and interest in swords that he has. She is also the only woman he has met who makes him argue with her like they are an old married couple. Furthermore, Zoro has saved her on several occasions, and she even returned the favor during the events of Punk Hazard. It is clear that she cares deeply about his opinions of her, and she is also quick to call Zoro out if she catches him slacking off. While Zoro himself can't really put his finger on it, there is something about Tashigi that really bothers him. 4 out of 10. But Tashigi isn't the only potential future relationship candidate for Zoro, as there's actually someone much more likely to become Zoro's future wife, Hyuri. As if sharing a bed with each other wasn't enough, Zoro and Hyuri have tons of reasons to end up together. You see, Zoro's ancestors were originally from Wano and later settled in Shimatsuki village in in the East Blue. On the other hand, Hyri is the daughter of the former emperor of Wano, while her brother is the current leader. Zoro not only saved her life, but he also made her fall in love with him with his excellent swordplay. According to Oda, in the culture, women are attracted to strong men who are powerful swordsmen like Zoro. Also in this panel, when she witnessed Zoro fight an assassin with his impressive three-sword style, the text at the bottom is the sound effects doi doi, which represents a heart beating rapidly. Considering that and the look on his face, it's obvious that she was completely smitten the second she saw him. Unfortunately, they didn't get enough screen time together during the Wano arc because they both had a mission to accomplish. But the brief moments they did have with each other definitely meant something. If only Zoro had the intelligence to care about anything other than fighting Mihawk, maybe they would have been a couple by now. However, it's still the best future pairing for him in my opinion. 7 out of 10. Luffy and Vivi. As strange as it may seem, Luffy and Vivi may actually have a lot more in common than you might think. They are both incredibly significant people when it comes to the show's history, and they are also from the infamous D clan. In fact, Vivi's ancestor Lily was a key ally to Joy Boy's cause, much like Vivi was to Luffy in Alabasta. Vivi clearly cares deeply for Luffy, and she even wanted to join his crew. Yes, I know this pairing is really unlikely to happen, but in One Piece, anything is possible. I think it's a 2 out of 10. Luffy and Boa. Compared to the previous one, this one is obvious when you think about it. Boa is completely in love with Luffy and is ready to do literally anything for her love. She has been infected with the love sickness, so it's clear that she is very serious about her relationship with the future Pirate King. Unfortunately for her, Luffy doesn't seem to notice her love, at least for now. When asked about it, Oda revealed that Luffy is definitely interested in having a relationship with a woman. However, he is currently too busy becoming the Pirate King, so he doesn't have time to think about it. So once Luffy finds the One Piece and achieves his goal, this relationship is pretty much guaranteed. This is an easy 10 out of 10. Sanji and Pudding. Sanji and Pudding are practically a couple already. Although their marriage was arranged by their families, by the end of the arc, it was obvious that they truly cared for each other. They both made sacrifices for each other and saved each other's lives. Plus, they both share a love for cooking and take pride in their skills. They are the perfect match. Let's be honest, as soon as he laid eyes on Pudding, he forgot about Nami and Robin pretty quickly. During their wedding, Sanji truly accepted Pudding for who she was when he found out about her third eye, something no one else had done for her before. Nothing could make their love waver except, well, having her memories of Pudding basically erased by her. Pudding had nothing but regret as she forced herself to walk away from the man she loved so passionately. However, a lot of things can happen by the end of the series, and I believe Sanji and Pudding getting together is definitely one of them. 8 out of 10. There are only 4 more couples left to cover, and at the end of the video, I'll reveal a possible future partner for Shanks. Usopp and Kaya. Usopp and Kaya share a special bond that clearly translates into them being a potential match for each other. I mean, they even kissed during the One Piece live action, which pretty much confirmed that Usopp and Kaya grew up in the same village. Despite being publicly known as a liar, Usopp could always count on Kaya to listen to his stories, even though she knew he was making it all up. Throughout his life, he treated Kaya with respect and deep care, and was extremely worried about her when he found out about Captain Kuro's plans. Despite being a complete coward, he risked his own life to save the woman he loved so much. Plus, they have great chemistry on screen together, and Kaya is still following the news. Finally, if Usopp becomes the great warrior of the sea, I think it's a given that these two will be together and live happily for the rest of their lives. 10 out of 10 for me. Whitebeard and Stussy. While there isn't much evidence to support this idea, Whitebeard and the real Stussy may have been a couple in the past. As she claims, they were a big reason why this is possible because she and Whitebeard were both part of Rock's crew at the same time. We also know that Whitebeard's dream was never fame, wealth, or power. The only thing he wanted was a family. So wouldn't it make sense that he would try to have a real family with someone before? I believe it's possible that these two got together at some point while they were on Rock's crew, and that the relationship probably soured at some point, leading to Whitebeard leaving and starting his own crew. Another interesting thing is that Edward Weevil, who Stussy claims is her and Whitebeard's son, defended his deceased island from the Marines. Not only that, but he also appears to have the same whiskers as Whitebeard and even carries a similar weapon. Now, whether Weevil is Whitebeard's biological son, we can't say for sure, but the possibility that he and Stussy got together at some point is definitely much more likely. 5 out of 10. Before we reveal who Shank's secret partner is, let's quickly talk about Sanji and Nami. Sanji's constant cornering of Nami is a well-known joke within the community. But what if Oda actually surprises us and legitimately makes them a couple? I mean, it's not impossible. Nami clearly knows he likes her, and if she gave him the opportunity, you can bet he wouldn't hesitate for a second. Sanji and Nami have saved each other's lives on multiple occasions, and going through so much together could eventually evolve into a relationship. We also have to remember that Nami even went with the crew to save Sanji when he was taken to the whole cake's cake, although there were other members more capable than her who could have handled the task. I don't think this relationship is that likely to happen. 3 out of 10. Shanks and Makino. From what we've seen in the show so far, Shanks has a habit of drinking alcohol with his crew on any island he visits. But what made him stay in the East Blue for so long? What was so special about Makino's tavern in the first place? Why was it his main place to eat and drink? Perhaps there's more to this story than Oda is letting on. During the first chapter, when Shanks got into a conflict with the mountain bandits, he didn't escalate the situation and decided to just endure their insults. Now, while he had his reasons for doing so, there could be another reason. He simply didn't want to create more trouble for Makino. Another interesting thing is that in this cover page of chapter 614, Oda confirmed that he had a son. When asked about a baby, Oda told us that the father is probably that person I don't know. That person could easily be Shanks if you ask me. He's the only guy we've seen actually interacting with Makino, and the two seem to like each other, although they haven't exchanged many words. But if that still hasn't convinced you, take a look at the cover page of chapter 86. If you look closely, you'll notice that Makino is wearing a ring, which means she's probably married. Fast forward a few chapters later, and on this cover page we can see Shanks attending a certain wedding. Maybe it was his own, since we don't have any concrete evidence of that. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 for now. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. See you next time. Bye.